Hello, this feedback is for Ian. His topic was California water supply, and the time was 6 minutes 11 seconds. His introduction was very clear and to the point. I just felt like we were missing the thesis and a hook. He could have probably elaborated a little bit more, but in the introduction, he was really clear in letting me know that he was going to be talking about the water supply in California and the shortage problem that we're having, and he was going to present the problems, the causes, and the solution, and how to conserve as much water as possible. um, I felt that maybe he could have been a little bit more elaborate with it, and that could have covered his thesis and his hook. Um, as for the problems, I felt like he gave us three good examples of why we're in a drought. He was very organized and precise of where he got his resources. In the problem sections, he had three different citations, one being the drought.gov. That was the graph, and it was published 2/12/2023. That gave us an information on how much percentage of an overall drought in California there is, but then there's a 32.6 percentage where it's severe drought. He's saying how there's not enough water to support daily needs such as taking showers, cooking, just the normal everyday daily needs. He was saying how this graph shows parts of California and which counties are in that severe drought, but he didn't mention which counties. The second citation was the drought past problems future scenarios. It was out of a book. It was published 2020. He was saying how they were saying how the essential necessities for human life and activities, the resources are not there, the water resources. Also, the water supply that's used for irrigation is being affected. And then he was saying how the tourism, recreation activities are also being affected because there's some that do require some water supply. The third citation he gave was the CDC. It was an article. It was published January 16, 2020. It talked about droughts, how it causes health problems and long-term effects on people. What causes the drought? I'm sorry. What the drought causes is poor air quality, poor water quality so we could drink. Nutrition is affected, hygiene, sanitation, and then of course the West Nile virus is created from stagnant water. So when there's not enough water and there's just a little bit of water, that produces a virus. That's what I got from him. Again, I felt like in the problem sections he was very precise, very organized with his citations. Approximately like 36 to 46 seconds. That's how much time he spent there. And then the transition between the problems and causes, and that's also the introduction was very smooth, I felt. As for the causes, he did have two citations there. One being rescue.org. It's an article which was published September 14, 2022. It talked about the lack of rainfall. That is the reason why we're in a drought, and how the shortages of water can be fatal. He also talked about how side effects of water shortages are very predominant. And then he also used another citation, which is USGC. It's a blog post posted on May 3rd, 2022. He was talking about how the soil would dry out, because of lack of water, so then plants die. He was also talking about how weeks to years, how we've had these droughts. They're less normal droughts, from weeks to years, make the lake reservoirs have a decrease in water supply, and then that would make, of course, the use of wells increase. Again, I just feel like these are the outcomes of the drought, but not necessarily the causes, what causes it. Again, this article here restates that because due to lack of rainfall, we're in a drought. I felt like maybe he could have looked for a different resource of adding to, other than just rainfall, what else might have been a cause for the drought in California. And then the transition from causes into solutions, again, I felt like it was smooth. Again, he has 2 citations in the solutions, and they're well organized, and one being the University of Nebraska. It's an article in 2023. That's when it was published. It talks about water conservation, use of water wisely, use less water. The second citation in the solutions section was done through Volusia article, How to Save Water. It was published in 2023. It was giving you just ideas of, check toilet leaks, stop use of toilet as a waste basket, put a plastic bottle in the tank, shorter showers, turn off the water while brushing teeth and shaving, flow restrictors on your shower heads, so when you're scrubbing or something, you turn off the water in the meantime, and then maybe baths. He did very well with his citations. He's just missing 1 out of the 8 required. I think he should have just maybe threw in another solution in there, or maybe in the causes he could have found maybe 2 more causes. The conclusion, again, the California water supply, he again discussed how the California water supply is not enough to try to meet the supply and demand, and that we need to try to conserve as much water as possible. Again, I just thought, it's very clear and to the point, but I just thought it was pretty short. He could have elaborated a little bit more on where he stands, what he thinks that maybe would be a good idea in order to conserve water, or in order to increase our water supply. But overall, he did very well. Each section, for the most part, I felt like it was anywhere between 36 to 45 seconds. I think he did pretty good. Like, his speech was very clear and to the point. The audio of the video was very clear. The only thing I could say, maybe the way the camera was positioned was mainly from the bottom looking up. He was in eye level, and of course the whole body, the head to toe shot, which I too struggle with. I'm not always in a situation where I could record myself full body, but other than that, he did very well. That's my feedback.